Welcome to the Focus Advisor podcast, where we discuss how you, the independent financial advisor, can grow your business. Today, we're going to define webinars and explain the benefits of a webinar and why a webinar is the most efficient piece of content you can create. So, the content creation and distribution planning field is very big. It's vast. We have platforms like BrightTalk and Zoom and GoToWebinar on 24. And then there's YouTube Live and StreamYard and Riverside FM and Facebook Live and Twitch and Instagram, TikTok, Snap, blah, blah, blah. This is very confusing. What does a webinar even mean? Let us set the record straight right now. And I will say that a webinar is a digital presentation where the audience consumes information directly from and engages with presenters with commercial intent in mind. So we can compare and contrast webinars with other content formats too. We can say compare with a virtual meeting, a webinar does not show who's in the audience, and the conversation is generally one way. Compare with a podcast, the content has visuals, right? Like a video, maybe a deck, and it has faces. A webinar, they might use YouTube Live or Facebook Live, but that really isn't. It's only for general or wider distribution, and it's not for engagement, but you can get likes and things like that. A webinar, they might use StreamYard or Hopin or Vimeo, but these platforms don't define the webinar itself. Duration, in terms of duration, it's going to be 10 minutes. It could be 3 hours. It's a wide variety of lengths. Compare with a hybrid event. A webinar is digital only. So hybrid events they're more composed of in-person events and webinars at the same time. People don't want to travel sometimes. Now, in terms of pricing, a free webinar means that the audience is not the product, and a paid webinar means that the audience owns the product. So let's talk about 6 reasons to host a webinar and why it is the most efficient content creation mechanism. First, you can showcase your expertise and establish yourself as an authority, right? A webinar takes a lot of thought. It requires you to organize your thoughts. Sometimes people think by writing. A webinar allows you to do that. You need to be clear and concise as well, because you have 45 minutes to talk about one specific topic, right? 45 minutes seems like a lot of time, but we'll get to the efficiency of that as well. Because you are saying we're hosting a webinar and we're talking about this topic, you need to make sure that you're delivering on that. It requires you a lot of thought, and in many cases in the information industry, thought is the product, actually. Thinking about something, thinking through something you're thinking so the audience does not have to. You're bringing fresh ideas about a topic so the audience doesn't have to. And that is the value of the webinar itself. So it helps you showcase your expertise and build authority on a topic. Second thing, digital time and place. A webinar allows you to create a digital time and place that you say, I'm going to host this webinar at this digital time and place Tuesday at 2 p.m. on Zoom. And you can send that to people, have them register for it, have them put it in their calendar. Hopefully they make it. But the promotion is most important, saying, hey, we're doing it at this time and place. Be there. Third, you offer to highlight partners, right? Or people that you want to know more about or work with. This is a great value add for the people that you have on the webinar, because they can establish their thought leadership positions. They can establish their authority. So, this is a great value add for you as well, because they say, hey, I want to work with that CPA or that estate planner. I want to develop a better relationship with them. This allows you to reach out and say, hey, we're hosting this webinar. Would you like to come on and talk about your business? Talk about the challenges in your industry. It lets you add value to those conversations by putting a digital time and place and saying, hey, let's talk about this at this time. So it's a value add to your partners and brand strategy. It's a value add to your partners. It's a value add to your audience as well. Number 4, value add to your audience. Everyone who is trying to get new clients, they might be in the product or service business, but they are absolutely in the audience business. Audience is wide. you drive them down the funnel, it narrows down until they become clients. So everybody that's out there that wants to build a new business, that helps. A webinar helps you add value to your audience, and the more you add value, the more they will recognize that value and want to learn more about how you do business. It also enriches their information of the world, right? It helps because you're establishing yourself as an authority and sharing information. It says, oh, this person knows what they're talking about. I should listen to them. And when they listen to you more and more and more, that creates trust. And that's number 5. Helps you expand your brand, because when you host any content, people see you more often, and that creates trust. Seeing equals likeness equals trust, and trust builds businesses. You are consistent about what you're talking about day in and day out, and when people see that consistency, they think, this person is somebody that I want to associate with. I trust them because they're always talking about this, right? You become known as the person that does that. The caveat to this is you need to create high quality content, right? The production value is important, but it's not as important as the quality of the content that you're creating, right? The trueness of what you're speaking about, the efficacy or how effective the work that you're doing is. Creating high quality content on a consistent basis, that is what drives the most trust, helps you establish your brand. 6. Enriching your audience data. Once you commit to creating content, once you decide what the content's going to be about, who the people are that you're going to be speaking with, and you host that webinar itself, you draw that digital line in the sand saying, we're hosting this 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Once you draw that digital line in the sand and people show up, about 30% of people will show up. It helps you understand what they are most interested in, right? When they see the topic that's interesting to them and they register for it, they're like, oh, this is a topic that I'm having a challenge with. I need some feedback on how I can overcome that challenge. I'll join this webinar. But then when you host a poll, you can get even more information about your audience. So hosting polls, using the features of the webinar platform, that allows you to enrich your audience data in the webinar. And a poll is a great way to get a lot of specific data. So that's 6 things about why a webinar is a great strategy for creating content. But honestly, a webinar is not the end all for your content strategy. They do provide a huge way for you to create a big piece of content, but they provide a huge way for you to create big, long chunks of content, and then, and this is critical, slice those down into smaller, digestible pieces that you could distribute on social media and on your website. So, when done correctly, webinars are the most efficient way for you to create content. Because if you can pack a 45-minute webinar with content once a month, you can use 30 of those minutes of content to create smaller than 60-second short pieces and distribute those in a lot of different places, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc. So, let's wrap it up. When properly written, the webinar can be engineered to create that short-form content, all bundled into a 45-minute value-add presentation that establishes you as an authority on your topic, helps you engage with your audience and your partners, and enriches your data on that audience. Thank you for listening.